Yes, guys and girls, welcome back to Stretford Paddock. My name is Jordan. As you can see, we're outside Old Trafford as Manchester United bounce back in their last game of 2021 with a 3-1 win against Burnley. I'm sat here with James. First of all, I'm going to talk about Scott McTominay because he was his performance, absolute shadow of a player than he was in his previous game. What's happened?
I think everyone's just got behind him, and I think everyone's enjoying watching him play again, and it seems like he's playing with more confidence as well, because the whole of TRA was singing his name. They were singing Scott McTominay, and that was it. He just needed that boost of confidence, and when he's in that team as well, I think Rangnick's managing to find the best out of him. Because in that first half especially, he got that goal, he looked really well, and he looked like the player that he was under Solskjaer for a bit, and he seems like he's managed to find the best form in himself.
Did Rangnick do the best choice by swapping the full-backs completely, because we saw the return of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw for a complete swap of Telles and Dalot, because I thought they played quite well today, especially Aaron Wan-Bissaka was brilliant at times in his recovery defending. Yeah. Do you think it was the right decision to swap him?
I think that the dubious doubts were around whether Wan-Bissaka and could go forward. That was the issue, but I think he did that to be fair to him, and I think the issue is with the other full-backs is that defending-wise, as we saw against Newcastle, they're just not quite at the same standard as Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, so they came back into the team. They looked a lot more solid defensively in that second half, and never felt like there was a period where United were going to lose the game. It was like, well, we're 3-1 up now, that's it. Whereas with Dalot, where with other fullbacks in there, you just think, oh, fuck, what are you going to do now? Do you know what I mean? With that sort of thing, but it just looks a lot more secure, and I think Wan-Bissaka, especially going forward, looked a lot better than he normally did, as did Shaw.
On that point, he said he didn't think there was a point where we were going to lose the game. There was a point when we were 3-1 up. We could have conceded an easy 3 goals, two off corners with the Burnley centre-halves getting just above. And Wan-Bissaka gets right in at the end, and that Burnley forward, he scoops the shot. Is that not cause for concern still?
I mean, partly maybe against a better team, but I think the good thing with Rangnick is he's got a reasonably easy games of coming up now, in terms of the fact that we've just played Burnley, we've got Villa in the Cup as well, and Wolves as well, so there's a couple more games where he can get used to playing with the style that he wants to, and then he can adapt those players to his system. But if you're not playing City or Liverpool or Chelsea or those sort of sides like towards the end of Solskjaer's time, then I think there'll be a bit more cause for concern. But I think at the minute, he's managing to embed his style into the team, and I think compared to Norwich, compared to Newcastle, it looked a lot more convincing today.
And a point on Jadon Sancho, we were all questioning why he didn't start against Newcastle on Monday, but he's come back into the team, he scored a goal, he looked threatening all game. How good was it to see him starting the game and being back to his best form?
That looks great. I think it would take him a lot of time to get used to the sort of football in England, and I think that's the issue as well. People expect him to come back in and be an instant impact, but ultimately it's played in a very different league in Germany. It's a very different style of play, and he's coming to England. It's taken him a while to adapt. We've seen glimpses of him. He's been a very good player under sort of certain matches when he's come on as a sub, but I think this is the first time. I think Newcastle in the second half as well, when we've seen Jadon Sancho at his best in a United shirt, and I think especially today, the goal that he scored was really good, and I think we're going to see more of that because he's going to grow into the game more. He's going to develop more into a proper footballer. I think that's an exciting thing to see at United. And I think under Solskjaer as well, it was a bit dubious as to whether he's fitted into his style of play. But under Rangnick, he's a fast player. He fits into that pressing style of football. So he's a great player to have him play out of that team.
Of course, it was our last game of the year going into 2022. If you could sign one player or any position for Manchester United right now, who are you signing and why?
Put me under the pressure there. I think, to be honest, United probably go for a centre back. I think that's the thing that United would go for. I think
over a midfielder.
Yeah, I think someone like a Koulibaly or someone like that. He's got experience. He knows how to play football. He won't be cheap, but I think the issue in Maguire and Lindelof, Varane's looked very good, but Maguire for me, I want to give him time. I want him to improve, but he just looked too shaky recently. He needs some more competition to improve his game.
Do you reckon he was better today? Maguire?
Yeah, he was. I mean, I think there's less pressure under him. I think the issue is against a side like Newcastle when they go 1-0 up away from home and there's just that feeling of shit. Do you know what I mean? But I think today, United took the lead early on. He could relax a bit more, and I think especially, he's got other players around him that are a lot better today as well. I think when he's on his own, he's got Lindelof next to him. He looks really under pressure, but I think when Varane's in that team, we saw when he came on, it just eases him up a bit more.
Absolutely.